Hello friends, welcome to How to VLAN channel. Today in this video, we are going to see how to spread Oracle's RMAN backup over multiple disk locations or mount paths in Linux. Again, welcome to How to VLAN channel. This is DB VLAN stream. As usual, before we start, we look at the steps we perform and the situation on which we will need to perform these steps. First, the situation. So you are in your project. I face this problem, sir. In your project, you may be in a situation where you have a database of size in several terabytes, but you're storing the backups on a file system where the file system is limited by the OS limits or some other limitation wherein you cannot allocate the required capacity for the backup in one location. Instead that you probably have to allocate multiple mount points. So what will happen? As per your RPO and RTO, when you take multiple backups, say for instance every week you're taking a level 0, so you have capacity to hold only 1 week of level 0 wherein you need to store 2 or 3 weeks of level 0 in the same path. In such situation, what we can do is we can allocate, instead of one location, multiple locations, multiple mount paths in Linux, and distribute the storage among all of them, and also the backup also will be written to multiple locations. In this way you will not reach 100% of your disk location or mount path with one or two backups consecutively. So instead, say for instance 10 terabyte is your database size and your mount path is just 10 terabyte. The next backup will not be able to fit in there, right? Simple calculation. Instead, if you have two 10 terabyte mount paths, if you distribute the backups over the two paths, in that case, you will be able to hold two backups at least. I'm just giving you at a high level. There are various other optimization techniques in Oracle with which you will be able to accommodate 2 or 3 backups also within the 10 terabyte capacity. For instance, compressed backup is one example, right? But everything comes with a cost. Compression adds a lot of compute power. So that's the situation we are in. Okay. So we are going to address that situation. How we do it. So in Oracle, we have several solutions for it. One of them is to configure the channel in such a way that the backup will be sent to multiple locations instead of one location. So this is the ideal solution. This is what Oracle has written in their document. What is the other solution? I have read in several blogs and websites. I saw a configuration like this: configure channel device type format. This one, did it work? Huh? It did not work. I'll show you the outcome to really be quick, because we are not going to run through that particular solution too. We are going to rule this out. So that's the reason I'm showing you as a quick example. You see here, for the solution 2, in RMAN, we have to configure our device type disk parallelism to 2, backup type to backup set, and because you are having at least 2 disk locations, so I wanted to ensure at least I allocate 2 channels. Alright, and then configure the channel for device type disk with the format this and this. I have 2 locations, alright, for sending my backups to, so I gave both the location. And the outcome is, you see here, I already made a search out here. You see this location. You see all these are going to still at least 2 channels I showed you, right? Both of them are going to the same location. Instead I configured U01 and Arch. You see all the backups, though it's more than one channel, all the backups went to the same Arch. I'll show you the channel allocation. You see Arch disk 1 and Arch disk 2. This is what Oracle will use it as a standard naming convention. If it is SBT, Arch underscore SBT1 and SBT2. This is how Oracle will allocate our disk 1 and disk 2. But you see both of them are getting dumped to the same file path Arch. But that's not what I am expecting. I need one channel sending the backups to Arch and the other channel sending backups to U01. So let's get it done. Now the other solution I'm going to really test now with you guys watching. So you see the other solution is to configure the device type disk for parallelism too. So we are configuring 2 channels for device type disk, and the format for the device types are this. Alright, so only concern is you should not have number 5 here. This is a risk. You see, this is the reason I'm giving it here. If you put it only 2 channels you are allocating, and if you are saying channel number 5, it will not work, because for Oracle the channel number 2 will be 2, then only it will pick up the second format. Okay, so you need to change it to 2. I just left it explicitly in order to show you. So you should keep the channel number 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that, and the backup formats. So the corresponding channel will send the backup or stream the backup to the location you mentioned. If you mention number 5 and you allocated only 2 channel, the 5th channel only will send the backups to the location you gave, not the second channel. And you have to increase the channels here. Alright. Or the other way is to explicitly call out the channel formatting in the run prompt. The first one allocates the channel without even you call the run channel allocation formats in the run prompt for every backup you trigger. But the second one you explicitly call out in the RMAN script, the run prompt, that this is my channel format. So this is the difference, nothing more. Okay, so we will test this now. So before we do it, this is the solution 1. So we are going to test the solution 1. First, what we have to do, we have to connect to our database and do necessary actions, right? So as usual, I have 2 sessions here. One session which is in color to indicate what all the actions we are doing. Okay, and we need to set our environment. I have already set my environment. I am connected to Aura 19C SID, and I have my environment set to Aura 19C, and then this configuration. Alright, and is my database up and running? Yeah, it's a database with RK log mode enabled, so I'm going to take a level 0 backup or a normal database backup. That's what my goal is. So let us connect to the RMAN target slash, and if you notice, I'm going to preserve the settings first. Alright, this is my setting before I change. You see here the parallelism is 1, and there is no other format specification for device type. Channel format, you see, retention, backup, default, control file. So no mention about channel formatting. So now we are going to include the device type parallelism 2. Okay, the device type changed from 1 to 2 parallelism, and we are going to mention the channels, individual channel format. This is a new setting. You can see the output also indicates new RMAN configuration. Okay, so now let's verify if our settings look good. Earlier we saw device type parallelism 1, now we have 2, and we have 2 channels here. So channel 1 and channel 2 part of the parallelism 2. There is no channel 0. Oracle's parallelism will always start with channel 1. Okay, so we verified until here. Now let's try performing the backup, and here is the important piece. I don't I am not sure if in your environment are you using big file or not. If you are using a big file table space, you will have only one data file. So that single data file can be of 32 terabytes in size. If you don't divide that big file into multiple chunks, you will not be able to use this multiplexing. I mean the multiple mount path effectively. All that one backup will go into that one location. So, or other channel specifications based on that. There are many optimizations, many tunings you can do with ARM. So I'm taking a safe assumption here that I'm not using big files, but still I assume here that I'm using big file, and then I wanted to divide my big file into multiple chunks of 32G. So, and also I'm mentioning number of files I will hold in one backup set is only 1. So the other channel has an option to take the other section of the backup, other section of the data file, that big file data table space, right? Other section. So you have sections of multiple files. The big file is divided into 32 GB sections. So each one acts as one entity. So first entity will be picked up by the channel 1, second entity will be picked up by the channel number 2, and so on. So channel 1 will write the backup to the mount path 1, channel 2 will write the backup to the mount path 2. So even with big file we will achieve this solution. So that's the reason I gave this method. Alright, so let's try this backup. Let's see. I hope it will work fine. And before we do it, I just wanted to show you whether I really have something here in this mount paths. You see here, there is nothing residing here. And before we run this command really right, we need to verify if this command is correct or not. How do we do it? I have already explained this in another video. You go here in RMAN, check syntax, just paste the command. It has no syntax errors. Now let's run the backup. Normally you shouldn't be running like what I'm doing. Mine is a very small database, so I'm running it in the R1 targets itself. But normally if you run it, you will need to put it in a run and then call it from a shell script. So I'll pause here. It will take a minute to finish. Alright, you can see already the channel 2 is writing the backups to this location U01, and channel 1 I saw it was already dumping my database backups. You see here Orange, right? So it's using both the locations, and I already examined it here, guys. You see here Orange is holding one piece and user1 is holding the other piece, right? Let's do one more time. You can see Orange is holding 3 pieces and U01 is holding multiple pieces. Alright, this is one other thing I need to address it, but I'll probably do another video on how to balance this out. But I think Oracle by default doesn't have any parameters to control which mount path should hold how much of backup capacity. There is no such configuration, but with various other settings, like I said, this max section size, the section size, files per set, and there are max number of open files, and then max set size. So you have many other options. You can use them, mix them all together, and then arrive at one solution. All right. So let's see. Oh god, this channel is not. I think this channel got most of the files, and so it's not evenly distributed. I think all the backups went to the channel number 2. All the data files went to the channel number 2, most of the data files. So it only received 3 files, but the other one received a lot of files. That's the reason why it picked up and operated on many files versus the other channel, the original one. This one did not pick up a lot of files. Let me see if I really have a big file. I am not sure if I have report schema. Okay, I don't see any mention here. Let me just check in the DB. But anyway, this is a concern, guys, so I'll let you guys know. Yeah, it's not big file. Let me see in the CDB table spaces. This is a multi-tenant C database. Sorry, CDB database. CDB. There is no big file table space, so no only in CDB or in DBA. So, but I'm guessing one of the container was picked up completely by the second channel, and I think that's the reason for many files going into one. Alright. Yep, fine anyway. This is tested. Now let's go to the second solution. When I say second solution, in solution 1, the second option, which is to allocate the channel and run the backup. Okay, let me see. Let's see the list backup of database summary. This is how you get the report of the backup. You see all the backups finished with the same tag. Okay, and see all of them are in disk and they are available. So number of pieces, number of copies, compressed is okay. Now let's try doing one more backup. This time what I'm doing is, even though if you notice here, even though I have a format here, this format specification will override that. I will show you, for instance, RMAN test. I'll say this format I'm mentioning is RMAN underscore test, right? To just show you the difference. Okay, so this will override whatever setting we have here. This is how Oracle works. So even if you include one channel setting, it will automatically override the information that you have, because this is what Oracle says. Even if you call out one channel setting in the RMAN script, that will override all the format setting you mentioned for the channel. So just remember that. Okay, so I'm going to do this backup now. It's the same command, okay, but I'm explicitly calling the channel format. Okay, it's taking few minutes. Let's see if it has already started creating. Yes, you can see Orash RMAN test underscore, and this one RMAN test underscore. Here is the thing, the last backup we ran had a different format. This one has a different format. Reason is the channel allocation command within the run overrides all the settings before. So that's the reason why we got a different file format now. Alright, so this backup also will finish in a minute. I'll pause here and I'll show you at the end. Okay, the backup finished. You can see. Just show you here. Same way, so very surprising, isn't it? Only 3 files, same sizes. So, and the second channel picked up many of the files. So it's kind of unbalanced still. Alright, so if I do a size check, which one occupied how much? Okay, size wise, first one is huge compared to the last one. You can see here, right? Even though it received many files, size wise, U01 was pretty less compared to the Orash. I'm looking at exactly that path, I'm not looking at anything else. So this is how the size wise I'm very happy that the distribution happened really very well. Only the number of files, but our objective is size only, right? So it's achieved. So I hope you really like this video. If you really like it, give me a thumbs up, and add your valuable suggestions or feedback so I can improve my video and my next video or next exercise. And if you really like, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to How to Learn channel, and we'll meet you in the other video. Thank you, bye.